Lord, oh Lord, I cry. Send me a sign, yes, before I die. Try and help my nation. Not quest for unification. Lord, it means a lot to me. Yes, everyone and their family. Free your hearts and our minds from these mental chains that we cannot see. We're blinded by money, power and greed, when we could just help to feed the ones who in need of a helping hand. It's hard to survive in this land. Yeah. These are the days when the signs of tomorrow will be the signs of today.
Blessed good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family and friends. Blessed good afternoon. Blessed good afternoon. These are the days as you come up. I just want to invite you. I just want to encourage you. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our page, brothers and sisters, like and share. I need you to call somebody who knows somebody. Guys, Trini, I see you in the building. Lucky, I see you in the building. Gail, I see you in the building. Each and every one of our brothers and sisters. TK, I see you in the building as you come up, ladies and gentlemen. Blessed good afternoon. I needed to call somebody who knows somebody because I have some information for you, just in case you missed it. Only last night I went up in the Monday night forum, and ladies and gentlemen, I must say, based on the information that was distributed, hours well spent, journey well made. So, blessed afternoon to you. So here this, I want to say a blessed good afternoon to Cedros, Erin, Buenos Aires, Icacas. I want to send out some love to Point Fortin, to Rosilac, to Dow, to Chinese Village. Whether you're in Separia, you could be in Pinal, you could be in Debe. Whether you're in, ladies and gentlemen, you could be in Moruga, Golconda. Whether you're in Claxton Bay, Rio Claro, Guayari, Shaka Shakari, ladies and gentlemen, Edinburgh 500. Whether you're, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're in Toko, you could be in Manzalena. Or Spain, blessed good afternoon to you. We must say blessed good afternoon to Silots, Shagaramas. Blessed good afternoon to each and every one of our sisters up there in good old Port of Spain. Blessed good afternoon to you. Shogunas, big up yourself. Big up yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, semantics, blessed good afternoon. Somebody page Nikki for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I totally apologize. Yesterday I was out and about. Remember in the morning I told Oli I had to go a meeting. So what happened, it ended up running a little over. And then after coming out from the, you go meet somebody and then, the conversation, we had to deal with it. So we end up off yesterday. But again, thank God last night was the Monday night forum, which brought us some very, very interesting, I must say, some good information. I must send out some love to Miss Jolene John. Ladies and gentlemen, I must send out some love to Mr. Barry Pararat. Blessed good afternoon to you, sir. Very, very informative. Brothers and sisters, I must send some love to my member of parliament too while we are at it, Mr. Ernesto Raymond Kiza and his entire team that continue to work diligently here in Point Fortin on behalf of the people of Point Fortin. And Trinidad and Tobago, I could comfortably say, thank you very much, TK. Thank you very much. Still, blessed afternoon as you come up. All you know we had to talk today and we must run some audio. Because again, our Prime Minister have spoken, and based on the conversation, this is what I keep telling Trinidad and Tobago. The Kamala Prasad Bisesa that we seeing today, brothers and sisters, come on, evolve. And mind me, the words came out of her mouth. This is no longer going to be the long time thing. Stupidness happen, and I cover you with an umbrella. Likewise, you would no longer continue to be functioning in the corporations. So, Saparia, I don't know if Ole was listening last night, but if the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago directly call out a mayor, Mr. Megu, Separia, Ole monitor what it is Ole doing, I think now is the time for we to get to work. Because why are saying that? Because 2-3 people go call it when the conversation come up. What she? Now she attacking the corporations. And I was like, well, okay then. The Prime Minister attacking the corporations. So again, ladies and gentlemen, my responsibility is to always be informative while we having our conversation. This is why my responsibility is to continue bringing the evidence and the data for you. So when you speak about attacking the corporations, when our Prime Minister bring the information and told us we would no longer be signing into work and then jumping out 10 o'clock and getting your full day paid, I dotishness. Now, some of the people in this country who sat back and talk about CPEP money good, CPEP money all right, CPEP this and CPEP that. Now, mind me, I brought you the data from a gentleman who was working CPEP. Now he say he working in the Forest Reserve. And the gentleman is explaining that they have no problem making a full day work in CPEP. Who my Prime Minister was talking to yesterday is those who does reach the work and jump off the work 10 o'clock. And when payday reach, you want your full pay. Basically, what the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is factually displaying. You remember a fella who used to be a Prime Minister stand up and boast and tell Trinidad and Tobago about a just day work for a just day pay and did nothing to put in place to make sure that we get just day work for a just day pay? But ladies and gentlemen, thank God April the 28th, the people of Trinidad and Tobago found themselves in a position where we must utilize proper governance. Our responsibility is to hold on to the facts. So as I continue to display to you on a daily basis, when you hear the conversation that your organization, your Prime Minister, matter of fact, Felix, your representative don't have no plan. My responsibility is just to pull this, and if it is your hard time, I give it a read, because I ain't giving him a thing to go with. Because this information is public information. It have about 6 at this, and based on last night's conversation, it looked like it have a next copy at it that compiles everything. So that is the copy that I have to put my hand on, because again, brothers and sisters, if it is you do not have copies of these things, I continue to tell you, you will continue to be under the impression that your government sticking on you, your government not working for you, your government in business about it. And let me tell you something, the only persons who would utilize that avenue after listening to the conversation of a government that is doing the responsible thing by, ladies and gentlemen, utilizing the Attorney General to play an instrumental part in weeding out corruption. You know what I'm comfortable about today in Trinidad and Tobago? That we have an Attorney General, and when you look at the background, nobody do have to explain to you that he don't have maths. Nobody do have to show you no video that he was stand up talking to young people or females or male in Trinidad and Tobago, explaining to them that they failed particular subjects and didn't even give the effort to go back for it. So thank God that we're sitting with an Attorney General that actually know his work. Now, while we at it, again, myself, Irvin Felix, I like to keep my conversation factual, because as much as we take in Mr. John Jeremy, who is making a magnificent contribution, brothers and sisters, we all know we have some educated brothers and sisters in the background supporting heavily under the stewardship of Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessa. So listen, while we talk this conversation, and some only like to send information to me to tell me about Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessa attacking the corporations, my responsibility is to give you factual data that you could just go back on my Facebook page, or you could even utilize this YouTube page, and you would bounce up a video where I was on the beach, on Clifton Hill Beach to be exact, speaking to a young man. Let me explain something to you. Are you aware who have the responsibility to maintain the beach? How did CPEP end up maintaining the beach? Is it because the mayor of Point... I don't understand what I'm saying. I don't understand what you trying to understand, trying to explain to me. Because the Heights is, the Borough Corporation has neglected their responsibility for the longest. And this is just me speaking from Point Fortin. I can't tell you what's going on in Superior's Borough Corporation, but I can explain to you here if you go outside right now by the football field. This after the member of Parliament for Point Fortin that was under the PNM banner, you see, after the people of Cedros, Erin, Buenos Aires, and the Carcass and Point Fortin made their mind up. Enough of this putting a crap in a suit and we voting for PNM. So here what we go vote for? We go vote for representation. And being endorsed by the OWTU, ladies and gentlemen, utilizing a UNC ticket, Mr. Ernesto Raymond Kiza was able to pull off the inevitable. We're talking about after 25 and more years of neglect in Point Fortin. Mr. Ernesto Raymond Kiza was able to pull off the inevitable. Now, while the people of Point Fortin thanking God that we have a representative that is not a PNM mute. We have a representative that when given an opportunity to make a contribution in the parliament, listen to me, he stands up and he speaks on behalf of Point Fortin loudly and proudly. George, I must say I'm rather disappointed in you because listen, you call out everybody last night and for some strange reason, you didn't call out Point Fortin. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, that's all right, God. Excuse me. Only excuse me. Thanks. Oh, battery look. You're good there, right? Everything right. Thank you much. Yeah, so George, I must say I personally displeased with you last night, displayed it. Although the performance was good and all of that. But at the end of the day, Point Fortin have a member of parliament. And if there's one thing, Irvin Felix, despite what going on, I doesn't hesitate to give you your respect, brother. So I think last night there was a good opportunity after 100 days. I've been in office after 100 days. I'm a member of parliament making his contribution to after 100 days. Ladies and gentlemen, every time given an opportunity to be in the office to discuss with his people, 5 o'clock I'm meeting him home. And on top of that, he ain't reaching back home before 9 o'clock in the night. So obviously, and it have other members doing the same thing too. So you could understand when I tell all you, different parts of the country, people who supported the UNC and supported the coalition. So if you look around, conversation changing. Don't by me, I can't afford to play them type of games because the kind of shortcomings I dealing with and what it is I read here, and based on what it is I seen implementing, what I read here is what I seen implemented. So based on that, ladies and gentlemen, when you add one and one together and you get two, I can work with that. But my heights is, don't displease with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for calling out the corporations when the corporations have a responsibility too. So this is why when I rock back and I listen Trinidad and Tobago spoke, why it is you think I actually utilize the conversation on the beach to ask for a raise for CPEP? Because if right now, Mr. Trevor Lynch is paying people who connected to CPEP, who's supposed to be working CPEP, but based on corruption, they end up home. And if you listen to the conversation as of Friday, the DPP, Mr. Roger Gaspar, have the relevant documentation in his hand. So we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we continue to sit back and wait on the information coming out. Yeah, all sorry there. We're dealing with something. We continue to wait on the information coming out. But the facts, the nitty-gritty of what it is we're speaking, we must always hold on to the facts. Who responsible for cutting the football fields in Point Fortin? Don't mind a big hole and the poorly maintained. But who responsibility and people getting paid for that? Resources coming out to maintain that. This is what it is a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians, I believe, misunderstanding. Those who pretending that their heart and their soul is for Trinidad and Tobago. And telling us the best thing for us is the PNM. And in realize $144 billion. Nobody to explain where it's spent. Nobody could explain where it was invested. The most amount of money that has ever been borrowed collectively with all the governments was borrowed with the former administration. I explaining that to a gentleman on my page defending an organization that drastically failed the people. And the level of argument he having, let me tell you something. I reached to the point, if you want to be an idiot, so listen what I tell you. I say, partners, the only thing you ain't tell me yet is that when Rowley was abandoning the job as Prime Minister, the only thing you ain't tell me is that he handed over to African. That's the only thing you ain't tell me yet. And watch me. I gave them 2 months. I given them 2 months, and in 2 months, they will explain to you that Stuart Young name really was, Stuart Young was just the front man. It's really this person. Give them 2 months, and you would see the type of games that was played in this country. All right, let me just say, right? Let me just say. Let me go with the CEO of CPEP. And let me just say, based on his conversation, let me get the document. Based on his conversation. Well, give me 1 second. Let me find this piece of information here. Right. Former community-based environment protection enhancement program CPEP chairman Joel Edwards say he never had any conversation with or got instructed from the line minister Faris Alwari. This is the information he putting out here today. Now, brothers and sisters, let me explain something to you. And what is not going to continue happening in Trinidad and Tobago, because I know we had too much of brilliant minds in this country. What is not going to continue happening in Trinidad and Tobago is the sideways conversation. Faris Alwari coming out to explain that he was working on advice. Now, Mr. Joel Edwards explaining that now mind me, all these persons that we talking, from the Faris to the Joel to the chairman, every single person in the executive was hired by the PNM. So all of them collectively, they don't understand what it is we actually asking, you know. Them think somebody personally targeting Faris Alwari. No. It's everybody who sit down and had collective conversation now based on the WhatsApp information that they already put out, based on the excuses that has already been displayed. Brothers and sisters, is either Faris come out and talk the truth? Is either Mr. Edwards come out and talk the truth? Is either the persons who make the decision bring forward their document where they're talking about that they passed procurement in 2017? For some strange reason, they had Jack Warner information. They have all Jack Warner documentation. They could tell you how wicked, how vindictive Mr. Jack Warner is. I hope the DPP know we watching it. The country watching. They could tell you everything about Mr. Jack Warner. You want people talk? Go back and check the page. They regurgitating every single thing when Mr. Warner and Miss Kamala Persad did fall out. And that now supposed to persuade you. Listen, that supposed to persuade you as a Trinbagonian citizen, one living in Trinidad and Tobago, aware by we culture is bacchanal. The only difference we find ourselves in right now is in the midst of the bacchanal talk. We have brothers like Barry Pararat standing up in the middle of a crowd with documentation already received by the DPP, explaining the information. The magistrate is totally confused based on what kind of, only bring a lawsuit towards this kind of vibes here, and this is what it is we see here. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to understand what's going on, you know. When the Attorney General and the UNC get whatever information they get, their responsibility was to report back to us. And they came to us, Mr. John Jeremy, Ms. Kamala Persad, Mr. Barry Pararat, Ms. Khadija Ahmed. I don't know if all ever sit down and talk to all the members of Parliament, or if all feel that these people and them superior to all you, so when all see them like they don't talk English, but that is not how this thing does go. My member of Parliament, anytime I bounce him up, he have the relevant information waiting. Because you understand that we have a responsibility to the people. Felix just might ask me, why Barry Pararat come out with this? Where the information? Anybody go get locked up for this? This will ever reach in the police hands for it to be a serious question? And when my answers came back, yes. Yes, Felix, yes. Based on what it is I'm seeing, yes. Based on what I read, yes. Follow how the Attorney General talking. Listen the guarantees Ms. Kamala Persad is making. Watch how Barry Pararat making his delivery. That ain't no bluffing. It might sound like peacock to you. Because why? Over the years, again, we could comfortably tell you that PNM predominantly control governance in Trinidad and Tobago. Over the years, PNM people will tell you that they build this country and them build school. Wasn't taxpaying money. No, none of we didn't work no way to contribute to the revenue of this country. PNM dip in the pocket, just like how they can't explain how they build this new Balize house. PNM build this country with their money from their pockets. And when you sit back and have factual conversation, when you say build the country, building the country means building the standard of education. It also means building the healthcare, building agriculture. It also means building infrastructure. So when you say building the country, based on the condition that the United National Congress and the Coalition of Interests and Mr. Farley and his team with the TPP in Tobago inherited, after 20 years of poor representation, Farley, all you feel all you have it easy, we have more years than all you in point. Trinidad, all you feel all you have it easy, we have more years than all you down here. To the parts that didn't change yet, all you are totally sorry for all you. I'm totally sorry for all you. When I looked through the crowd last night and I see African people, so I say, boy, I wonder if all them African from UNC areas, by, or is it that a statement is being made, even that the person who we put up, the person who the UNC put up, probably they lost. But the people coming out though, the people coming out and showing we didn't win the election, but we still standing by this. Because if it fixing point, it will have to fix in Sawa. If the water problem fixing in Superior, they ain't gonna leave Sidras abandoned. They ain't gonna leave Muruga abandoned. Understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a government that understand that they have the responsibility of the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago. We could sit down and preach CPEP how much we want. Sit down and testify. And how many people home? And how many people this? And how many people that? Some of them same people you're quarreling for. Give them the opportunity when they're walking, they're zigzagging more than you in the road. When you walking for a proper salary, and your salary cannot cover your family properly, help your grandmother, and still get your cousin at 40. That is the position that the PNM government put you in. You cannot, and this is when you're working. This is when you're working. Standard of living have gone up. Salary was left stagnant. Pension, stagnant. Condition of schools, stagnant. Condition of the road, Jesus Christ. The amount of millions of dollars that former administration explained that they invested in roads. But if somebody needs to go to prison, that is the highest form of treason. Bad enough. 3/4 of the money they can't explain. You know the contracts that was actually done was poorly done. It was poorly done. You out and about on my page having conversation on behalf of the former administration. The former administration that explained to all the Africans in this country. All you teach we Indian brothers, all you teach the Syrian, who the same, telling me, same people, you know. All you teach the Indian people in this country, all you teach the Syrian, all you teach the Chinese, all you teach every single ethnicity globally. That no matter how educated an African is, the only how we elevating, you see those who actually earn being prime minister, we would drag them out of office. And then we don't drag them out of office. We would destroy the character. We would make sure that the members, the same members who when they heard it had a road in his name in Bahamas, clapped. Them same members, we would make them spit on him, run him like a dog. And then we will install we prime minister. And listen to me. We prime minister will train each and every person who under him. He will push the doctrine because you know them African and them kind of strong. You know when thing is bright, there is plenty provision and thing. They have money for KFC. We give them a 10 days ever so often. So they go buy KFC 1 fortnight for the month. And here what we go do. We go make sure that we have enough cameraman outside. And when the cameraman and them outside, we go tell them, take picture of them and put it on social media. And when we put it on social media, we go put the heading as, look them, Trinidadian. They're quarreling and saying they're under pressure. And all of them inside a KFC. The 1 fortnight you get pay. The one fortnight, just as them love the children, you love yours too. You can't buy the bicycle. You can't buy a skateboard. You can't buy a video game. You can't buy a computer. You can't buy a cell phone. The one thing that you could buy is a KFC. And fortnight after fortnight, that wicked administration do all of that. Sit back and pretend all they don't know what I'm talking about. That wicked administration do all of that. Take pictures of all and put it on social media and say, watch them, they want nothing. Listen, the same bunch of hypocrites. Listen them. Hear the conversation. They say, listen, Trinidadians saying they're under pressure. We never tell you everybody drastically under pressure. It are people who are under pressure. But we never tell you everybody drastically under pressure. There are people who doing particular type of works offshore and all kind of thing, who stand their ground and their money stand. There are people who don't deal with politics, so then didn't get caught up with this zigzag money. There are people like me, who publicly supported PNM in the past. I vote myself into unemployment. Up to today, I can't catch myself. Under Miss Kamala Posad Bisesa, let me tell you something. I'll let us sit down and listen to people talking. And feel, hey, one come to tell me about singing for my supper. The UNC not to pay me to have this conversation. What I give you here is basic facts. The companies and them are talking to some of the biggest companies and them. I, Irvin Felix, work for. And this is where the government had business going on. And these folks, whether it be Indian or Syrian or white man or African, you can leave out to you and them too, had no problem hiring me. And I vote, and within the middle of my vote, I come and hear the talk Petrochin at the close. Find out what is the main thing down in South. We now diverting in a major way with computer. We have some skillful men like Shivam Tiloxing and Rick and them. But down here is welding, fabricating, blasting, painting. Down here is hard work. And after supporting our government, and when you listen to the conversation, there's somebody partner who double sell oil, and this is what we're dealing with, you know. And while the conversation with the double sell oil come out, nobody explain nothing to we. They turn around and stand up on platforms and publicly talk to the population and lie to the people and tell the people that they pay off the petroleum workers. They tell them they pay all of them. You pay off the petroleum workers or they pay them off handsome packages. People of Trinidad and Tobago, all they need to look in all the community. All they need to start a drive down Point Fortin and talk to some of the taxi drivers. Find out their qualifications. Find out where they was working. The kind of money they work for. And let me explain something to you. Same man we bring into office, eh? We bring him into office to stand up for the people because he don't drag one African out of office. And we give him the opportunity to close down Petrotrin and market to the people at Trinidad and Tobago. Look at the pay. Look at Petrotrin workers' pay. Look at the pay all here. And the country went in our pro. We, the people at Trinidad and Tobago, didn't realize PNM, they don't convert 3/4 of the people in this country. Only the money maker is CPEP. The number one trade is cutting grass. Whether you have a degree, a bachelor's degree, you have a full certificate, whether you have 3 subjects, or you're uneducated fully, we have room for all the other side of the road. All you will get straight cutlash, and all you will represent this country. If I didn't walk all day, I walk out the road and bounce up women with degree, cutting grass. Gone by the tongue hall to have a conversation. Christmas time. You who picking name, asking me how to spell Christmas. And you picking name. You responsible for rotating people. You ain't making out basic words. And this is what we did to the people who have sense, who need help with alternating. Then we take them and put them in the front. You know why? Because them will never be able to give us a proper debate. Who we know, dirt poor, the house barely fixed. Let we work them in all the MP offices. Let we give them to control all the programs. So when you go, they know you personally. You fight up 17 years now, you're building your house. Your 3 bag of cement when you get paid. Them may make the same investment, but them sitting in a spot that had to bring support to the community and they watch your thing. And you know what they say? You ain't want nothing. She living down by me. A old man meet me, I full of water from Cedros. Full of water. Papa, what happened? He said, Felix, let me tell you something. This is under the former administration. The former member of parliament that took this information to him. The man never get back the thing. I hope that he get back, but he will get back this wrongs. The man, daughter, working. His son working. No, his daughter working and his son-in-law working. The two of them have a child. The child going to school in Point. Listen what I'm telling you, you know. The child going to school in Point. The two of them have to leave home 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. So you can't have a child gazing in Point them hours. So the grandfather decide, don't get no harass. Like my grandchild, I go drop my grandchild. The man run for a week. You know when pension time reach, nothing in the bank. When he go on to query, you know the information he was told? He was told he work in taxi. They sit in the office. Yeah. They sit in the office. Didn't do no investigation. And on top of that, remember what I'm telling you? If they send water down Cedros, remember what I'm telling you? If you bounce your head in Point Fortin in the past, and you show any form of interest that you is an Indian or you is a Hindu, you can't even get water. You can't get water. That's where they do them people. No matter how much time election come up, no matter how close the figures come, they still make up their mind, no water for Cedros. Nothing. This is what it did to us. I don't know by you, don't by me. I is part of the PTA. So part of the conversation I had to listen to. Same Indian brothers and sisters, same flag, you know. Same flag, same country, same emblem, same everything. Same. The only difference is you go into temple, some go into temple, and I go into church. That's the only difference. And we pull an argument and allow our conscience to not send water down there. Bless good afternoon. Bless good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Felix.
What's going on?
Good afternoon, Trinity Baby. Good afternoon to your listening public and viewing. I'll join the program later. I just run back and I can see if I want to touch on 2 topics tonight.
Talk to me.
I listened to the Prime Minister last night. It was excellent.
Yes, man.
Tried to call in some of these programs this morning. I didn't get through. And the 2 things that stand out for me, I don't know if you had any, if you touch on it, is the one that where she implement that persons within her organization want the CPEP to come back to do the same thing that they was doing before, ghosts, right? That is one. Yeah. But the one was stand out for me, right? And is a question for me. I'll give an answer. If you can answer it, I'll look on listening before I extend my how many hours you have on this program. And the second one is about the ministers and them.
I didn't catch the first one. I didn't catch the first one. You break up in the first one.
The first one, yeah. The first one is about within the ghost in the CPEC that she is aware that persons in her organization want to come and do the same thing that the previous government was doing, right? And if you campaign on corruption and nepotism, right, she don't want that in her government, right? In that kind of terms. I know if I put it in the right way, I know if I quote her, right?
That's what she said.
Yeah, right? Right. And the second one is that ministers are using the word cohoes with the same contractors, right? From the former regime, right? And right, where they are corrupted, and she don't want, she wanted, right? She said, really right attack with our ministers and them.
Yeah.
If you all are condoling, but they know you all are calling. Who are condoling? And it's not no ifs, right?
Yeah.
Right? You don't know if she won't come on a platform and try to gain political points, right?
Yeah.
Right? What is your take on that? And if, as talk show hosts, right?
Yeah.
If you all are aware of some of these statements, that well, these two statements, one of these two statements she had made, and her contribution last night was excellent. You see a former.
Well, actually, I was there. I was there last night.
I see the pics. Right? What's your take on that? This conversation, these 2 points I bring in here, is a conversation for serious dialogue, because for persons who on the ground, and I am on the ground, big man, trust what I'm telling you, right? I am on the ground,
let me explain something. I don't know if you catch this piece of information last night, where they had explained that, remember they had mentioned the 1%, and they say a 1% come in our office with paperwork. Honestly, now the fact that the Prime Minister get back that information, that means the representative that was approached, that was approached is a representative of integrity. Hence the reason why we can talk about it. No, why I think she talked like that last night and reiterated it in front of the people is because she can't speak and say that all she representative would do that. So just in case,
I will take it a little further. You know, you trying to say nothing in case, right? I tell you, the Jolene John issue was good integrity, right? And she was looking forward for the rest of ministers who are engaging, right? And he listened to my words, who are engaging in that practice. They was expecting the same that what Miss Jolene do, because the process of go to a minister, the process of go to a minister is a procedure, right? And this person showed up in the morning and was escorted. And I had a conversation this morning, and the person is perfectly right. She engaged with the person to come up, because you don't go and see the minister just like that. You have to go through a procedure, right? Knowing who the person is and come up, right, and try to retract, not to draw out things that he would like to do in a paper, and she do the righteous thing, right? Right? Whatever information was disseminated, take it to a leader or a boss, or whatever you call it, and that just showed the integrity of some of the ministers, and she reiterated, right, that she know that who was in the past and who made mistake.
What's me?
Right? She hope they will change going forward.
And what's me? While you're on that topic there, something that was touched on last night that was very, very important, and I hope, this is why I hope any PNM person who up, this piece of information is very important to all you. Because you listen to the structure that was used. This man bring this document and saying that he already get the loan process, he ready to go, He just want it okay from the government. Now mind me, listen to the heights of it. He getting the loan from the bank billing the place, the bank making the investment. Partners, where you ever hear that happen, by what kind of that is mad people think, by so they continue to use taxpayers' money, and the people don't know exactly what's taking place. So the fact that this government brought it out now, the government could have stayed quiet, because the only way that can be profitable to a minister, somebody had to get kicked back somewhere.
Exactly, and that was the norm. That was the norm for the past 9-10 years, right? So they're telling themselves they could still continue with that practice.
No,
And
well,
not them. So it's
well,
more than that is nothing new.
no, well, me I get them wrong. You know,
Right?
remember that people in this country don't understand the difference with politics and representatives. You know, politics was just April 28th. The UNC done politics. That when we was campaigning.
Yeah.
29th is representation we're dealing with right now going forward, and plenty of them ain't get done yet. What they gonna learn?
Right. I like that. That was I wasn't expecting it to come out. I wasn't expecting it to come out from the Prime Minister. You understand? But well done, and there is a way forward that everybody will have confidence in this leader going forward. For how long the UNC stayed there, and to see the back of the PNM, because the PNM, boy, I'll look on this thing. I'll bring our other views to bring.
Thank you.
But I will that was just my burning points. You understand?
Feel free to call back, man. Yeah, man. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, let me do our word of prayer. Heavenly Father is your son, and Father, we want to give you all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. Father, we ask you to cover each and every one of our brothers and sisters upon today's Real Talk program. Father, I ask that you guide and you protect, you take charge of each and every one of our brothers and sisters, their spaces, their going outs, and their coming ins. Father, cover their marriages, cover their relationships. Father, you cover their children, Lord. Father, we just want to ask you to encamp your angels around our Honorable Prime Minister. Father, you continue to order her steps. You cover each and every person representing under her. And I want to say a special prayer for my member of Parliament for Point Fortin, Mr. Ernesto Raymond Kiza. Father, you encamp your angels around him, around his offices. Father, make every decision that is being made continue to be made on the people. So, Lord, we thank you. We thank you for the change in governance. Father, we thank you for the minds and the hearts that continue to open on a daily basis. Father, we thank you. And Father, I say a special prayer that every spiritual denomination, every spiritual group come forward and play their part in Trinidad and Tobago. And we thank you for today's program in no other name but in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. Blessed good afternoon, blessed afternoon, blessed afternoon, hi, blessed afternoon, Just Cool, Nigel, blessed afternoon, David, blessed afternoon. English, big up yourself. Lucky, big up yourself. Who we have up again? Joseph, blessed afternoon. Real deal, big up yourself. Blessed afternoon, blessed afternoon. Here is something that we just cannot forget. Something that we have a responsibility to always remember. Our responsibility is to remember how we got here. Our responsibility is to hold on to the facts, hold on to the relevant information that is being distributed in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, mind me, this is just me asking you to be real with yourself and be real with what it is you're hearing. If what I'm saying is not making no sense, well then, let me know one thing. The United National Congress is the organization. Now, mind me, the United National Congress, this is its third time in government. Third time in government. First, we had Mr. Basdir Pandey. After Mr. Basdir Pandey, we have Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And then we have Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar again as our first and second female Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, mind me, brothers and sisters, the United National Congress, 3 terms. The NAR organization, 1 term. Now, we could even go as far as back and speak because Uriah Boss Butler did win an election, but he didn't get to form government. The fact is that Butler did win an election. But every other election other than that, the People's National Movement dominated Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Because the people of Trinidad and Tobago trusted the PNM. The PNM sang the songs. They told us that they have the people's interests at heart and they care about the people, and God love you and we love you, so we take good care of you. And they sang all that song. And while we're singing and telling you we love you, so we take good care of you, when it comes to the education structure in Trinidad and Tobago, it didn't take the PNM to make major adjustments to that. It took the UNC, being led by Mr. Basdir Pandey. So that could tell you the gap of dormancy, if I could use that word, when it comes to education being run by the PNM. Now, after Mr. Bazir Pandey argument, that listen to me, this country can't continue. Now, Mr. Bazir Pandey could have mind his business, because if you look at the factual statistic in Trinidad and Tobago, when you're talking about business to business and ethnicity, the African population, we continue to be behind. We continue to be behind. What's the first African people behind mentally? A man calling here and he under the impression that I don't have enough ambition to buy a camera. He under the impression that I don't have ambition to pay internet home. He under the impression that seeing that these Africans, because he don't have that, and God know how much training that this man have, and teaching that same doctrine, that the only how we could accumulate something, we must receive it from our next ethnicity. Now, while we in the middle of that conversation, we telling all we children and growing them up that the reason why you don't have nothing is because Indian people in this country. And the bank go calling Indian people the money. And your family ain't going nowhere. They checking nobody. They're visiting no nice place, so them don't know no African who own nothing. You know why? Because the Africans that own things understand the doctrine or the teaching of the children. So it don't make no sense I expose myself to you, open up my door to you, and then become a statistic from you. So the safest thing to do is better I mind my business. So a lot of we parents ain't no Africans who own nothing in this country. So the information that surface is that Africans have nothing. And based on the delivery from the last African Prime Minister, listen to me, based on the delivery and the handover from the last African Prime Minister, African people in this country have no value. Now, mind me, as I told you, Mr. Bazir Pandey could have mind his business. Because way back, the Mahasabah don't realize what's going on. Eric Williams don't tell he that only educating people in Cowpen. And his responsibility is to say, well, all right, no problem, but we focus on actually getting some degrees and things. We responsibility is not to train we people to run through life, finish school, and hold that straight cutlass. First, that doctrine has been taught for so long. First, that straight cutlass doctrine has been taught and embedded in African communities for so long that we didn't even realize what takes place in front of us. And the former administration, they continue to come and they're telling me, boy, don't get no harass. I understand you under pressure. We love you, so we'll take good care of you. The only thing we wouldn't do, we wouldn't fix your children's schools. We wouldn't set a structure to diversify employment. We wouldn't even give you an opportunity to be a part of developing Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, what we go do? Under the last African-led Prime Minister, the last major African representation in this country, listen what I'm telling you, the Prime Minister was an African. The Attorney General was an African, that is Ms. Camille Robinson Regis. Two of the most important jobs. And them took the PNM party after teaching their own people that the PNM is an African party. They teach their own people Indian people is of no value. All of them racial and they don't like you. Ask them how Kazim Hussein and Reuhan Sunanan give us an explanation. Give them an explanation for that. Indian people is of no value. But after 2 terms in office as a prime minister, sitting back and allowing every representative to preach that doctrine, you get the opportunity to utilize the African in the Privy Council. Guess who we choose? And me again wrong. Me again wrong. Because he want to win. He want to win. He don't know as an African, despite what African they meet. Why you feel there's people on social media quarreling because they have nothing to talk about. People already made sacrifices and went up the road and give them ideas. They take the ideas and repeat and throw it in the dustbin. And when you get displeased about it, they turn around and say you're vexed because you ain't get nothing. That same former administration, only when I realized the list that I'm dealing with. The list we're dealing with. And I watch the amount of goods that I have and people still calling. A man come today to tell me about I give up my Christian, listen to the conversation. I give up my Christian integrity to support the UNC. Say, partners, listen to me. Me and no joker in Trinidad and Tobago. I sit back and listen Christian people. How much of them boast that there's PNM? I sit back and listen Christian people explain Hindu people worshiping idol gods. I sit back and listen a lot of Christian people, bad talk Baptist people, their own race. Bad talk Baptist people, bad talk Muslim people. Any religion I go in, I sit down in my gallery and cry, asking for support to bring to poor people. Not for me, not for my place. Not for my place. The whole of the country could tell you I was toying the country. And when things good, I let you know it good. And if what I seen not making sense, come on. And the whole nation was supporting it. Then people make me sit down and cry. I beg them. Only look, people by the hundreds. People by the hundreds. Today, them have a campaign out and about telling Trinidad and Tobago that UNC care about them. Look what UNC do CPEP. How much people die since they stopped working CPEP? How much people die and couldn't pay their mortgage since they stopped working CPEP? First, the structure that they set for Trinidad and Tobago, despite your ethnicity and despite, I tell people this thing with the PN, this run past racialism. My uncle Clifton used to tell me, he said, even them people is a cult. Them is mad people. No matter your level of education, the only how you could evolve, you have to run something. You have a girl child to age, run that. But in Fortin, keep all your heads on the ground, or you go listen talk again. Or you go listen how they just represent we. And all you go start to tell me after educating all the children, why you're still going through that. Why you the only how your family could get elevation. You had to have somebody that somebody could be with. Somebody had to breed somebody had to, no matter what going on, nobody had no respect for all you. And all you're asking we. Yeah, and them love we. Bless good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon.
What going on, Papa?
I am a pensioner.
Yes, man.
I am a pensioner, and I have 2 issues.
Talk to me.
One is the the banks charging we a set of fletching money by pensioners.
Talk to me.
You understand?
So wait, the charging all like extra money or something?
Well, okay, for instance, when we draw money and we draw out all we money, they charging we $25 every month until it boil back up to $100. And I find that wrong. Look at how much money is that. Huh?
I go write down that. Well, we got to do a program. I got to do a little investigation, and we got to discuss that.
Yeah. Investigate that.
Yeah.
And also the low hanging fruit could be accomplished with the importation tax. That importation tax could be removed.
Yeah.
Just like how Auntie Kamala removed other taxes, you know?
Yeah.
Those are my two issues.
Lovely. All right, caller. Thank you. That pension thing, we go deal with that as the week navigate. Thank you much.
Yeah, boy, that pension thing we real squeezing we were.
All right.
All them banks and them, you know, doing that shit.
All right, caller. Well, I know the relevant person listening too.
All right, okay.
All right, man. Bless, good afternoon, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Owen.
Partners, hear this. Sunday, I end up off the grid. And well, yesterday...
Well, I realized...
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that because I waited till 3 o'clock and I didn't get to.
And we feel like my other partner coming down the road, but he ended up running late. That is what went on there.
Right.
Because he would have grabbed it for me, but he ended up running late.
Yeah, well, tell me, I go make the distance I need you, you know, because tell me which part I go come down and drop.
Well, that's where you call me back after the program, I will give direct directions.
Right, I will 2:30.
Yeah, that 2:30.
Right, thank you very much. Yes.
Blessings, brother. You see that they all, and this is, you listening to that voice? This is elderly brothers and sisters. You listen one saying they're going down too heavy in the pension. This is while we discussing as soon as we government catch themselves. Let we do something about our pension. Banks, well, all listening to the conversation. So again, we know we have some brilliant minds, and Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the thing come in. Our responsibility, we have to bring up the conversation, not disrespectfully. We bring up the conversation, you see something, bring the information, and let we don't gun down people who bring things probably from we district. Nah, I just asking, let we bring it respectful. Let me bring it respectful. So once we bring in it, and we want it fixed, we know where we go get the relevant hearing. Because we don't know, it are those who play in racial games, and it are those who play in dotishness. This is not what we're doing here. We understand, and you listen, we repeated last night again, when UNC win, everybody win. And listen to NCW. It's a long time I sit back and take in NCW. And again, and I was telling all you, the people in Trinidad and Tobago even trying to run up on my page and have conversation pretending that they're supporting the PNM. Trying to get down in people's head. Their next argument, Trinidad and Tobago is under tariff as well, all right then? How much is the tariff? How much? 55, how much percent we get? I think Guyana get 35. So tell me which part Trinidad is. Trinidad and Tobago, we on 15% tariff. I say, well, all right then, we on 15% tariff. Now the whole tariff conversation is, that is a day or the government could negotiate. Government could negotiate. Well, all right then. So ladies and gentlemen, if the government could negotiate and Trinidad and Tobago government is comfortably doing business with the United States of America, and the business is to profit the United States of America and Trinidad and Tobago, well then one would understand that we have a relationship. And now mind me, I don't know if I catch the news last night, the conversation last night, that Exxon would be signing that contract today. So again, we must thank our governing authority, Ms. Kamala Posad, Bisesa, we have to give Mr. Monilal, Mr. Kiza, Mr. Clyde. Matter of fact, we have to get the whole administration, the forward. You, the supporters, the UNC, the coalition, the TPP supporters, you, we have to give you the support, the forward, and the love and the respect. Because of what you supported, this is what attract back Exxon. Because of what you support, this is what attract back Shell. Because of what you support, they could bring all kind of dotish conversation to you. Tune in to Grenada, listen what Grenada said when Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar was having and all this conversation. Perenco didn't even make a delivery yet. So with Perenco explaining the type of gas that they already found, with Exxon explaining that they're back to do exploration. Ladies and gentlemen, if you listen what's going on in the Fields Road, we already found oil. It's something about this governing authority. Something is like it's just bringing back a blessing to Trinidad and Tobago. Now listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. What we don't want to get complacent with. Listen, understand how my Prime Minister is speaking. My Prime Minister clearly explained last night as we looking to get down in some of these audios. Clearly explained last night and brought the assurance to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This ain't no the long time thing where you practice your activities and feel that I go come to cover you. This is not that. Right? What is going to happen here? Yes, now let me get something here. I have to start this the right way. Starting this the right way, we have to starting this by Barry Parrott. Again, I must send out some love to Mr. Clyde Ella. Blessed work last night. Blessed work. I continue to send some love to Miss Jillian John. Well, they taking Jillian last night. But let me go through some of the conversation now, man.
Must be accountable to the people who elected us, to the people who elected us into government. And that is why we are reporting to you tonight, whether it's in the sphere of national security. Give it up for our brother Wayne Sturge, and now joining him, Roger Alexander, the member for Tunapuna. Whether it's our sister who finds herself in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure like Eli Zakur from 4M, the indomitable Jerlene John. One of the most important men, and listen, I'm making a plug tonight. I'm making a plug for Cuba South and public utilities. That is the Minister of Finance, our chairman, Mr. Dave Tanku. But when the Honorable Prime Minister told us, serve the people, she told us, she said, listen, I want to hear what you have done. Show me what you have done. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Tell me what you have done.
David, let me explain something to you. Now, by me, let me keep in mind that we over here having a program, and this program is real talk, right? So based on your name, David Williams, I would like to bring some assumptions, although in Trinidad and Tobago, anything false, right? So I would just assume that he's African. Now, let me just assume that I am African. You know what type of African I am, David? I am not the type of African that an Indian person could say, wait now, Felix is your name? You have a slave master name, and you will catch me throwing a tantrum. Okay, David? My name is not a fake name. My name actually came from my slave masters and them. Handed down generations to generations. Number two, seeing that I want to have a conversation about my name, David Williams, you come up in the middle of big people having big people conversation. You see me running my government. You come up to have conversation. So I want to ask you a question. The last government was able to borrow the most amount of money that has ever been borrowed in the history of all the governments in Trinidad and Tobago compiled together. Over $144 billion was borrowed on the backs of Trinbagonian citizens. Could you explain to us where that money was spent? Who profited from that money? Which community actually inherited anything from that money? While you're at it, could you bring some closure to us concerning the Privy Council conversation with our Auditor General? While some of you who support the PNM continue to say that the matter is closed, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we're still waiting on an explanation. Because I remember the closing off of that, all you said is because Rowley did get fed up at Imbert. While all of them continue to wear the red dye jerseys and continue to support the same level of corruption, the PNM said, David Williams, all you put that content out and said that Rowley get fed up at Imbert. So they manipulated paperwork. You so dangerous, all you so corrupt that all you could use stamps and manipulate paperwork and say that $2.6 billion missing. This is despite the fact the evidence show that the $2.6 billion is there. David Williams, could you explain to the people of Trinidad and Tobago where our $2.6 billion is actually at. While you at it, I want an explanation down here in Point Fortin, because down here I have some shortcomings on my own. Because here in Point Fortin, we continue to explain the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, mind me, Point Fortin was predominantly PNM. Mind me, Point Fortin and PNM in Point Fortin say that they could park Crapo in a suit, which they boast that they did, and people will vote for it. So I want to ask you something. The fact that Point Fortin did continue to be a prominent PNM area, and the conversation coming out of Point Fortin is some of the best Calypsonians. Undisputedly, we could say some of the most racist Calypsonians. Some of the best footballers, some of the best tennis players, some of the best netballers. David Williams, I want to ask you a question. You make me pause my thing while my minister speaking. So before I start back this, I give you an opportunity to answer all of this to me one time. You go type up, we go read while we listen to the audio. So the question I'm asking you, if some of the best Calypsonians come from Point Fortin, David Williams, could you give us an address where the Calypso tent is in a former predominant PNM area place? After PNM has been controlling this place for decades, could you explain to us, the beautiful and handsome people up on this live here this afternoon, where the Calypso tent is, because there are people who want to visit? Could you explain to us where the 24-hour gas station is in Point Fortin? Because there are people willing to visit. David Williams, probably you could bring those answers for us. I live in Point Fortin and I don't have those addresses. Could you, Mr. David Williams, tell us where we could get a proper tennis court, despite the contribution of tennis and how much people receive scholarships from Point Fortin to go abroad for tennis? Could you tell us where the good tennis courts is in Point Fortin? David Williams, this is while you're up, and I go pause there for now because I have to get back to my minister. Ladies and gentlemen, let we listen to brother Mr. Barry Pararat as he brings some greetings, please.
Brothers and sisters, today you look across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago and you see your government hard at work. First, tonight I want to report to you as your leader of government business in the Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. The first bill to be brought after 10 years, the Honorable Prime Minister and myself will go to the Parliament ever so often, pleading with the PNM, please put the welfare of our children first. One of our speakers told us tonight, and again, the PNMs get vexed when we say two things. When we call Kamala Pasabi-Sessa the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago, which she is royal, she is the Queen of Trinidad and Tobago. But also when we...
That way they don't like. That way they don't like. Queen, there is a position that you, especially in the Caribbean here, there is a position that you earn. Ms. Kamala Pasabi-Sessa earn that. That is what they don't like. David Williams, we didn't ask you anything about LP. We asked you for the address for the Calypso tent in Point Fortin. Your party has been in power. Your party utilized billions of dollars that we don't know where it's spent. So you don't tell me about LP and them kind of thing. Explain to the beautiful and handsome people up on the show here today where monies was spent in the PNM areas. Do that.
Say she's the mother of the nation. Only a mother knows the pain.
Yes.
To see a child lying in a hospital bed and not being able to do anything for them. Prime Minister Kamala Pasabi-Sessa, the first bill, vetted by our Attorney General, the man who's taking the war to the PNM, Mr. John Jeremy, said the Children's Life Fund Amendment Bill. First bill in Parliament.
Yes.
The second bill, saving thousands of jobs by rescinding the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. We have now strengthened the Board of Inland Revenue, therefore increasing our revenue generating and collection.
Yes, man.
Brothers and sisters, they didn't like it. We didn't take them on. Because on April 28th, you didn't give us one seat. You gave us 26 as the UNC, and you gave us 2 with our brothers from Tobago.
I want to pause there. To my minister, Mr. Barry Pararat, to my line minister. You probably can't announce it on the stage last night because, again, UNC is about dealing with what we're dealing with before our eyes. But until elections and boundaries could give the people of Trinidad and Tobago a proper explanation about the results of those districts that fall under PNM, it ain't nobody in this country could convince me that that election was not a landslide victory. I predicted so many things that come to pass in this election. And one thing that I predict 3 years straight, I told Trinidad and Tobago that this election, it's going to be a joke to 33. 33 going to be a joke. 33 would have been a joke. And them know that it happened. They know that they can't afford for Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar to end up with that legacy. This is just the 2-3 African puppets in the PNM. You know? That is what they're holding on to. Ranks, and the only time they have banks is when they control the treasury. They like ranks. Give them minister work, give them 4-5 security, give them a black vehicle. They can't bring back paperwork. They can't bring back documentation. They don't know how CPEP procure. They don't know nothing about what took place for the past 10 years. They collapsed the oil and gas industry. They collapsed the education sector. They collapsed infrastructure. Roads that was reasonable. We could have waited for some of them roads under the UNC. We could have waited because the kind of monies that we lost dealing with the former administration. Mr. Pararat, that victory that the UNC won, until elections and boundaries could bring the relevant information, that was a landslide victory. That is why Marvin Gonzalez and Brian Manning and them talking all that crap, because they know they didn't win the seat. So they have nothing to lose. They don't have to represent the people because they didn't win. That is why they're continuing to function. So why you think Mr. Marcel could go in front? Listen, this man stand up on front of a pulpit and asking for election. Ladies and gentlemen, general election ain't even gone 3 months yet. The only person who do that is somebody who know that they did not factually win the election. So they don't have to set no structures to develop no part of the community because the people in their zones didn't vote for them.
Give it up for our brothers, our 2 brothers in the Parliament from Tobago. They're looking on. One of them is here tonight with us. But the Prime Minister's pension bill, ensuring that we safeguarded the taxpayers of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, ensuring that whether you served 1 day, you served 100 days, your pension will be determined by how long you serve and not who you know and who know you. Days for that type of politics are long over. But brothers and sisters, the PNM has moved from the People's National Movement to the PIP. You hear that? From the PNM to the PIP. You see, it's no longer the People's National Movement, it's the PIP, penny in pajamas. PIP, penny in pajamas. I tell you, we beg and we bad out here in the UNC. When you touch our political leader, you touch every single one of us.
Yes, man.
For 10 years, she had nothing to say on crime. She sat in the cabinet for 5 years. They gave her big ambassador work in New York. Had nothing to say on crime. Had nothing to say on the state of the country.
Now mind me, ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Barry Pararat talk, and as we go through our ministers on last night's program, again, we have, for the sake of knowledge, I'm going to discipline David for me there on the chat. I no problem with that. But we would run through this here and are giving David the opportunity to explain to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you're typing pad in your hand. Tell me when we minister lying. You have the opportunity. To my UNC coalition family, Tobago, big up yourself. Only we come to work today, man.
Your roads, your social security, Today she wants to talk about Kamala asleep at the wheel, and you cannot find Kamala. I will tell you, the political leader is very much present. She's very much working, and we are getting the job done. Brothers and sisters, that is why tonight I can tell you in WASA, the first 100 days of the WASA evolution plan marked a transformative period of accelerated action, strategic alignment, and measurable progress across the authority. Under the leadership of the Executive Evolution Plan, this is what we have done in just short 3 months. We rescinded the WASA Transformation Plan on May 15th, saving over 3,000 jobs inside of WASA. 1,200 daily pay jobs, 1,700 monthly pay jobs. That is what you voted us into office to do. We reorganized the executive structure where they had 36 people hand-selected by the PNM. We have now reduced that to 9 persons, saving the authority $30 million annually. Listen, Prime Minister is telling me, she said, you're doing good. There's water in Pinal, there's water in Debe, there's water in Kumoto, there's water in Kubasau, but you must do better. You must do better.
Barry, leave out Point Fortin. It's water in Point Fortin. We want more water down Cedros. We want water all over the place. I'm telling all you. Under the former administration, not me who put it out, WASA put out the information to us. The PNM government was successful at bringing down the water delivery to 17%. They were successful. Marvin Gonzalez is such a good minister of public utility that he know every valve to lock off to bring down the water distribution to 17%. You know what he go tell you? He didn't lock off the valve. You know what he wouldn't tell you? It was his responsibility to make sure that people get water. The argument is that I didn't lock off the valve, but it is your risk. You are being paid to make sure that people receive water. And you did a poor job. Matter of fact, when you came in, people were getting water before the PNM won the election. Not me who say that. People from PNM call here and boast about that. People who is still politically drugged with the PNM called just last week before, I think. The woman called and boast when Mr. Pandey was there, they get water. When Mr. Manning come back in, they stop get water. She boasts when Miss Kamala come in, they get water. She boasts again and tell me when Rowley come in, they stop get water. And boasts now Miss Kamala is back in office and she start back to receive water. And still try to justify the poor governance that PNM give to her. That took place live on air here, right here. Live on air, me line to nobody, go back and check the shows. And this is the level of dotishness that we're dealing with. The only reason why somebody will come up to debate that PNM had their interests at heart is because they're politically drugged. And with being politically drugged, you will be comfortable living on handouts. Listen to them. When I tell you my daughter's going to school and they cannot complete 1 solid week after graduating with the highest passes from the primary school, they can't complete 1 week in Vesini Secondary School. It took a UNC coalition government. Listen what I'm telling you. It took a UNC and a coalition government. Now, I can talk about the time my children in the school. And since my children entered the school up until UNC win election, Vesini had a water problem. Alicia and Aliyah going in for void. So I don't understand these people conversation. Alicia and Aliyah going in Form 4. And that problem has been there since before they entered the school. Well, I never noticed when I talk that in Point Fortin. And I talk that live on air, people doesn't come up and say that a line because it's the truth. I have no reason to come to lie to you. That is the truth. The former administration is so unskilled. They are so poorly. We should say there are so much of poor representatives that control their organization that we had to wait for UNC and the coalition to be elected back into office, to buy a tin of glue. To buy a tin of glue. The PTA wanted to fix it, they say no. The PTA, I on the PTA, is the vice president of the PTA. The PTA wanted to fix the line because with children missing classes. The teachers and them, they could speak, but they can't speak too loud. But it wasn't getting the opportunity to comfortably deliver the syllabus. And despite all the cries, despite all the conversations, Vecini had a water problem. I could confirm for you. Aliana, Alicia, and them going in Form 4 when school open. So I don't understand what conversation a PNM person probably could talk to you, but they can't call over here. The number is 3240844 and have conversation defending that garbage.
We have commission will now take command of this plane and take us to a destination. Uber South, I want you to assist Swappy and I in welcoming the greatest Prime Minister this country has ever seen, the mother of this nation, the queen of the land, the Honorable Hamla Prasad Bisesa SC. Let's hear for Swappy.
Yeah. June. USA.
Guys, are your country across? Where we get this one? Bless good afternoon, caller. Bless good afternoon, caller.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm trying to get on to Irvin.
Speaking, you're live on air right now on 6.5 television.
Oh, God, sorry.
What you do? You want to call me back after?
Yeah,
All right, no problem. You'll call me back about 2:30.
all right.
All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So as we continue to deal with this,
We have suspended offenders. We've implemented new oversight and tightened.
now I want a little listen some of the words coming from the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. For time's sake, I'll move up a little bit, but let me listen to this, please, because let me hear it from the Prime Minister's mouth. Don't let nobody bring it for you. Just like how they bring to tell me that she attacking the corporations, and what the woman already was talking about the timing.
Protocols ensure that the program remains honest. Our approach is practical and humane. Immediate cushioning we will provide. We'll fast track eligibility for social assistance grants and temporary wage support. We must build bridges back to work. There must be priority placement into public and private jobs and training to upgrade skills or start small businesses. We must reorganize. That is a cleanup. We must have reorganized programs. There must be merit and not muscle. There must be community value, not political patronage. We must have transparent rosters and audits of all these programs that each can have equal benefits. That is this cleanup.
I just pause 1 second here. Now, David Williams and them supporting the PNM, right? We are fighting, all they do all the thing. Now, watch what David Williams put up on this page here. All you does only come here to run all your mouth with all paid talk show. Now, David Williams, let me explain something to you. You know, hear me explain to you that I have ambition. And if it is with this ambition here, you're not seeing me by no media house, which I was there. You ain't seeing me no way. You're seeing me on YouTube, the Real Talk Show, speaking to over 500 people when the day done speaking to thousands of people. And your conversation is to make sure to put me. This is just to show you how always PNM, to put me in a position. Despite our dress, forget our dress. Despite the light bill and the phone bill, forget all of that. Keep me in a position where I can make $1. David Williams, that is why nobody here not supporting PNM. This is why the brothers and the sisters in the comment section will blaze you. Because he is a political dunce. So while you continue to be a political dunce, my responsibility is to run a true political, true representative, a true prime minister, one who didn't abandon the job.
Short-term hardship, maybe, but we must do it to prevent long-term harm. We must provide a clear path back to safety, to fairness, to dignity for honest workers. I make no apology for saying we have become a nation of grass cutters. Some people became upset about that. But the people are shouting the loudest. Ask them if they will send their child to cut grass. Ask them if they want their grandchildren cutting grass. And that is what we in the UNC is about, to provide honest, sustainable work for as many as we can. As many as we can.
Yes.
Barry mentioned the internship we are doing for hundreds of students through the state enterprise, TSTT. My vision is that every one of these enterprises, including the private sector businesses, should bring in or...
Now, let me interject there for a little bit again. Because they spoke about, Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bissessa spoke about the TSTT internship program. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who probably not minding all their business, that have other programs going on. So all they need to keep all their ears on the ground and make sure, stop listening to unnecessary conversation. You give David Williams an opportunity to do his typing, because when he come off here, it didn't have nothing, none of all the type and tell him, it didn't have nothing that is being played here and nothing that is being said here that he could say is lie. So when he leave here and he go and he stand up around his PNM colleagues, the only thing that when they're quarreling, they go say, them UNC people feel they're there, them coalition people and them feel they're there. Watch how they're talking. Watch how they're getting on now. Yeah, we getting on now because we've been sitting back and waiting for the opportunity for proper governance. So when we gain it, allow we to enjoy it now.
Young ones for internships during the vacation when they're home for months. They will know what is work. They'll know what is discipline.
Yes.
And above all, they will have hope for a better life when they graduate. There are those who say the state of emergency is something designed to track people. Yes, it is. It is designed to hunt down and take out the criminals from harming you. That's what it's about. There was a real threat. A state of emergency, elsewhere it is known as a state of exception. It is necessary because these are indeed exceptional circumstances we find ourselves in. You hear all kinds of criticisms about it, mainly from those who either have an agenda or have a vested interest in seeing the situation remain the same. You'll hear about the trampling of rights as we work to remove the criminal elements. Then what about your rights? What about the fundamental rights of law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? So we have the SOE, a state of exceptional circumstances, to make sure that you, law-abiding citizens, that you are safe and secure and your families are safe. You will listen to them. They scream from high heaven, wailing and gnashing their teeth that we are going after specific sectors of the community and how they are not being afforded their rights. Well, as Barry told you, I always say, you hear lying.
That is lie.
Yes, that is lie. We are about safeguarding the law-abiding citizens of our country. And therefore, if some rights have to be, conscripted, they're not taken away. They still have access to the courts. They still have access to the lawyers. They still got their family members to visit them. Those who are locked behind bars, they're not losing rights. Their rights remain. They're conscripted rights, but the rights of the majority far outbalance the criminal elements in our country. So listen, all of you who live a law-abiding life, you have nothing to fear.
Yes.
Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. But those bent on living a life of crime will feel the wrath of the population because you have had enough and you are now empowered by a government with the political will, determination, and competence to deal with the scourge upon our society. So while we can all expect the beginning of the end of crime in TNT, to meet heavy resistance, I ask you to have the toughness. I ask you to have the stability against the battery of attacks that the criminals will come with their brutishness and vicious enterprises, the likes of which you have never seen. We will remain strong. We will remain firm. And will you stand with us? Will you stand your ground against the criminals and against criminal enterprise in our land? Understand, it is necessary to reclaim your safe space.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, I don't want to run past without saying this here. Our Honorable Prime Minister and the entire administration. We're talking about, when we're talking security, we're talking about Mr. Alexander and Mr. Sturge have the responsibility to put the relevant things in place to make sure that the commissioner and make sure that the Coast Guard and all the relevant participating factors equipped to go out and get it. Part of the conversation, brothers and sisters, that we are not to forget. Some of the people talking today, well, why didn't do this, and why didn't buy this, and why didn't bring this, and why didn't bring that? At the end of the day, brothers and sisters, our responsibility, while all this information was spoken last night, I say I had to run back this today because I must remind you, you see, when the United National Congress get to read the first budget, this is when it gives the United National Congress the power, the authority to start to do full delivery. Right now, what they're in charge of, remember the former administration was playing with oil and gas. So all they did is scrap this stupidness they was dealing with, and we come to terms. We had Oakmark refinery, right? Exxon come back, Shell come back. Them realize that Trinidad and Tobago get back serious and making investment in their own oil field and in marking what going on down Venezuela. Because Venezuela had their own flag. We have our own flag. And if we own flag, underneath that flag, underneath we ground, we are oil, we have gas, we have the relevant materials so that we could bring up to the surface and sustain our economy, actually pay we bills, actually change cost of living, actually help with education, actually do something about agriculture. And we don't have to go and borrow no money because, again, remember, we're still looking for $144 billion that was borrowed under the former administration. No explanation of where it's spent. No explanation of where it was invested. They told us $13 billion was borrowed to feed people for COVID-19. They walk in the road, they're going all over the world telling people that. All they need to drive through the country and see how much houses did not receive support. All they need to come to the community. This is why on a daily basis, when I talking to people, I doesn't get to do it every day on live, but I just talk to so much people. I just have to let them know we have to thank God for communities like Living Waters that continue to bring support to Trinidad and Tobago. And watch me, we had to sit back. Well, matter of fact, not me, because I spoke about it when the Prime Minister disrespect Living Waters. Because I know Living Waters was doing more work than the PNM government, especially in the underprivileged community. That is facts. If nobody could bring any information to you different than that. Living Waters plays a very, very instrumental role. And anybody who have basic common sense will tell you, Living Water don't deal with politics. Them don't deal with politics. Them is about service. What we can do to help the people, you bring the help to the people. And it's about our organization, it's about our groups. But brothers and sisters, we have to be real and reasonable. The level of wickedness that took place in the former administration, the level of disgusting behaviors that was practiced in the former admin. Point 14, all the keep all the ears on the ground. The Marco boss just now. The Marco boss just now, all go tell we why all the daughters still going through that in the name of all the PNM. Well, not me now. Again.
To transform from one of the most dangerous countries in the Western Hemisphere to what it is today, one of the safest in the Western Hemisphere. It took them 5 years. On the other hand, a country like Ecuador, which was once one of the safest and most peaceful places in Latin America, has now become one of the most dangerous in just 1 year. In just 1 year. So understand which path do.
Hold on. Listen, David Williams, I'm sorry that I really had to talk to you this one more time. But again, I now explain to you the mindsets. And we here, we actually holding on to the facts. And listen, where's the facts? We know we living in Trinidad and Tobago. And we know when you and somebody in Trinidad and Tobago fall out, but we will find the most set of hurtful things to tell you. It don't belong to be truth, it just falls under bacchanal. But here we leave out at the same time in. Seeing that you touch on it, David Williams, and you put up that Jack Warner say Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a lesbian. No problem. Complete way of putting up. Explain to the people that Jack Warner and Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar did fall out. Fall out. Just like husband and wife does fall out. Just like neighbors does fall out. And just like husband and wife does tell each other hurtful things, it don't bound to be truth. Neighbors just fall out and tell each other hurtful things. It don't bound to be truth. And we would say it publicly. David, you know why I'm not messing with Jack Warner and Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar? You could sit down and talk. You could even repeat what Miss Kamala said. I know no problem to me. But what it is I know is that Miss Kamala Persad-Bissessar and Mr. Jack Warner, the two of them had enough sense, despite where they vex for, despite where they fall out for, despite where they say, despite where they didn't say. They had the two of them had enough sense to look at the murder rate and know that this argument and all what we say, all of that is small thing. The murder rate supersede all of that. The condition of the schools where children, if they fall down, they could drown in school. All that argument we had there the other day supersedes all of that. David Williams, just in case you don't know, I and all did bad talk the government. Just in case you don't know. Just in case you don't know and feel you're up here and feel it's all as that plain thing we're going on. When the truth come out, the truth come out. And the truth is we living in Trinidad and Tobago. And when we vex with you, we pong you to the ground. And everybody could tell you. African people, we just stretch your rubber band a little harder. And African, we just stretch it a little harder. When we fall out with each other, we just try to make sure that we end up unemployed. That is how we as Africans think. David, where you? Correct me when I'm wrong. Only bring back this next one, Miss Donna Cox. Donna Cox was of no value under the African Prime Minister, which is the PNM Prime Minister you supporting. African again. Mr. John Jeremy, all of a sudden, watch it. Brilliant. Being used to pull back the country. Sitting in a position where nobody in this country could call you UNC a racist. Not one of you could say it. You could verbalize it with your children when you're inside. But as soon as they reach up on their phone, they don't know. If UNC is a racial party, they're doing a very poor job at displaying it. Because for some strange reason, UNC racial, Miss Kamala ain't like African at all. David, you could type up the word too if you're comfortable doing it. But I'm telling you, I am not the type of African. When somebody of a different ethnicity, whether it's Indian, Spanish, Syrian, tell me that my name come from a slave master. I am not the type of African to debate that. I have enough sense to know that that is the truth. You're dunce. Let me go again. So you don't try to bring Miss Kamala and Jack Warner Bacchanal, where the two of them, despite what argument, the former administration, your government, all the African that was exposed under he nearly end up in poverty. I had to be a total madman to support the PNM administration as an African living in this country. The 2-3 African who are thing, they're targeting them. And if they can't get, they go get people who doing blogging. Because the Indian population don't get called out. They don't make bloggers tell people, jump over Indian people fence, run up in their house and take the thing. And God know the contribution of our East Indian brothers and sisters who was just trying to mind their business. All your government tell the people that is racist. And when you walk in an Indian bar, you walk in an African bar, Carib spell the same way. When you walk up to the Indian man, he telling you how much for you there, where you're looking for, bless good afternoon. The African man who have a bar, same service. But my responsibility as a young man who does be out and about in Trinidad and Tobago is to keep the doctrine that PNM fed David Williams and them and fed the supporters, our enemies, the Indian man in the country. My Prime Minister, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, she don't have no reason to be an Indian. And them Hindu them, who what is that? The number one argument? Who worshiping idol gods. That is only number one conversation, only not part of the people religion. Only quick to talk about everything. Everything, you know. Ask you when last you bring a positive contribution to your own children. You know about Hindu religion. You could sit down and have a comprehensive conversation about Muslim. PNM till you're dead. And Muslim are good. And lead them down the road there. Lead them out of the country. Forfeit them because the fathers practice our activities. The fathers, you know. Forget the wives, forget the children. Penalize everybody. Because nobody don't change. The only people who does change is those in jacket and ties in the PNM. Nobody will change. But Ms. Kamala spoke the right set of words yesterday. And obviously who she spoke to, it wasn't just PNM corrupt people. She also spoke to brothers and sisters in the United National Congress. Because if ministers coming out stating that people are approaching them with documents, and listen, it is being spoken on public platforms, that means we have some good ministers in the UNC. That means we have some good ministers when we talk in coalition. The fact that the conversation is being spoken publicly, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar have enough sense to know all she ministers wasn't approached yet. All she MPs wasn't approached yet. So it leads to the conversation that anytime your name get called up, anytime you end up having a problem, putting cocoa in the sun, no, you're fired. That is what we vote for. That is what we supporting. Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who supported the United National Congress and the Coalition of Interest and Tobago with the TPP. And today, all you're feeling wavered. Today, all you're feeling like, boy, them people can't handle it. You probably could feel like that. But when they read the statistics of murder, and the man who reading it sitting in the government today and telling you the best numbers in 5 years are reading it for you and still explaining it to you, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. Imagine Kamala threatened to bust some minister's head. Really, Kamala? You know you ain't there boss Philip Edward Alexander head. No way she would do that. Again, this is PNM political mockery. political dotishness because you bring up that. Could you explain to me when we children was drowning in schools? If your children fall down in the corridor, the school full of water, and all that had to clean was the drainage around the school. It have a minister dealing with that, innit? And everybody don't know Miss Kamala and mean literal boss nobody head. She could have said boss your throat. Probably that way you are accustomed to. Why is an industry man? So if you go tomorrow, please, Lord, and your name not on the chat, the boss hear us, you're unemployed. So I understand we have people probably who in work in different places. So you will watch petty things that is said and not hold on to the facts. We get on. We get on. But that ain't helping my children when they don't have water in school. For some strange reason, it affected Kamala government. Despite coming on week after week, every day in Point Fortin, begging for water from a trip. Mind me, the member of parliament for Point Fortin was educated in Vestini Secondary School. Vestini happened to fall under library. So the member of parliament is a PNM. Vestini in a PNM district. And the member of parliament for library, the member of parliament for Point Fortin, despite the personal connection and the responsibility, not one of them could have come up with an idea to fix the water line. Matter of fact, somebody in the Ministry of Education gave instructions that the PTA cannot fix the water line. So if that is not being vindictive to my children, you tell me. Tell me where is your argument, your conversation about Ms. Kamala explaining to her representatives. Mind me, her representatives is UNC, the coalition. That if you don't deliver, you could get your head boss. Basic common sense, again, I repeat it. If you didn't have the opportunity to go different places and work different places, that might be offensive to you. My responsibility is to hold on to the facts. The conversation is Point Fortin have the best set of Calypsonians coming from. Where's the Calypso tent? The PNM has been in control of this government. The government is who sets up the carnival, and they had a whole thing, and them who does do the financing. And with all the years PNM has been in power in Point Fortin, with all the contribution, thank God Super Blue family had to migrate and end up doing otherwise. Because we don't get on like it's Point Fortin, who is responsible for Fayan and his sister's legacy. If invasion ban had to depend on Point Fortin, the boss, invasion would have still been in Point. Naya would have still be stand up by the park. Iowa would have still be by the park. Everybody would have still be by the park. The same Victor Chinkit Park that they refuse. Same PNM refuse to make investment to even put a waterfall. All of them flying out, they're going all over the world with all kind of nice places, enjoying the luxury of taxpaying dollars, and would not bring back some of the necessities that they see on the outside. You know why? Because that is not good for you. You wouldn't have money to pay for a big wedding in a nice big hall. And we would set up 0 structures. When CPEP painting stones and beautifying the place, complain about that. CPEP only painting stone. Some of them CPEP place, if you go back on social media, you would notice that when people get married, they're stopping there and taking picture. That affect them. Anything that could bring happiness to the community, it affects them. It's like a poison to them. Excuse me, Miss Cheryl. I don't know if you understand how a government does run, but this is basic mathematics here, right? A government does actually have a political leader. This is not the PNM here, right? This is the United National Congress. So I know probably you might be hooked up on PNM politics and thinking all political party does run the same way. That is not how it does go, right? Ms. Kamala Prasad Bisesa is the political leader of the United National Congress, right? Philip Edward Alexander falls under the coalition of interests. Philip falls under the umbrella. You notice Philip still wearing his PP proudly and nobody not complaining because Philip make up his mind the worst set of governance still fall under PNM. Still fall under PNM. And you telling me with all the fallout, Philip Royal Corral. So this just shows the type of person Philip Edward Alexander is too, you know. Philip Royal Corral down the place too. But when Philip look at the murder rates, nobody, no. This have to change. This will have to change. Miss Kamala, what are you talking about, girl? Come, talk to me. Let me hear what you was really saying it. Bring some documents and show me where you really. I tell all you see this here. The information is in this here. The information is in this here. I must say blessed good afternoon to my brothers and sisters. I see me over 600 this blessed Tuesday afternoon, the 12th of August in Trinidad and Tobago. But while we talking, I was telling you, we sit down and we go bite at the petty things and the small things. And what about what the direct things that was impacting the communities? PNM now run 2 terms. They read budgets, they take out money for parks. Because in the last dregs day, they run and fix some park when they realize Fortin really not supporting them. The same PNM. Well, again, if you want to talk and you're saying that the PNM is not racial, well, then somebody could bring some information to me. Because not today I on social media. Fortin, they just consider it a majority African, mostly. But when you go down, see just is predominantly East Indian people. Is it that you arguing that it was okay for the PNM to not send water down Cedros or to make no adjustments to get water to Cedros? Superior Regional Corporation is one of the biggest regions it have when you're talking corporation. And the responsibility was left up to Superior Regional Corporation. Now, mind me, Superior touching Library, touching Patsa Point, Superior touching a very big Cedros. Bless good afternoon, Freeport. How you do? Talk to me.
So, first thing, I want to get something out of the way.
Doctor.
There is a fellow by the name of David William on the chat.
Yeah.
Mr. David William, if you're hearing me, just left Mr. Felix alone. He's not stupid as you. And you're making all kind of nasty remarks about people. Check yourself first. Okay?
Yes, man.
So, well, I want to give you some good news, boy.
Talk to me.
The tree that I was complaining for about 4 years ago and people bash me.
Yeah.
I get a call today from drainage. They come and they visit. So very soon we will get that river clear up. So I just called the MP office and thank them very much for doing what people before never wanted to do.
Who's the MP up there?
And Dr. David Lee.
David Lee, man. Big up yourself, Mr. David Lee. Go ahead. And your team.
Yes. And I tell them about the pavement by the school, but what happened? Works don't have a workforce, and then, CPEP and URP down. So we have to wait a little bit. So I tell them I understand that. But very soon, as things get back to normal, we will have things as it's supposed to be.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is what we want with the people and them.
Yeah.
And I want to big up Miss Kamala Prasad Bisesa for that revolution yesterday.
Yes, man.
She didn't spare nobody. And she let everybody know nobody is too big. Bat in your crease and things would go good.
Yes.
What I understand from she, she meant good for this country.
Yeah.
And she wanted to see the country better. And she didn't leave out nobody, you know.
Yeah.
She tell the Minister of Health to make sure and full all these space that it have, make sure and employ people and give people work.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that the health department would be better in a short while.
Yeah.
But some of the people so hurry. You have to wait. You wait for 10 years. 10 years you wait.
Yeah.
And there's 3 months. And I want to tell you, for me, the UNC do more work in 3 months than what PNM do in 10 years.
Life facts.
And I don't care what nobody say.
Life facts.
Right? Yeah.
Life facts.
All the PNM doing now, they seen what to do, what they're supposed to do in 10 years. Let's imagine Penny asking for pan in school now. You had 10 years, what you was doing? Nothing. Nothing.
I watching Cheryl and them thing here. Them is PNM, you know. Them sit down and watch me talk and listen me complain about PNM not making investment, you know. Instead of making the investment at the time when they had the money to invest so that every child could get pan, they tell you they're going to invest $100 million on a piece of land that they don't even own. That's why they tell the people, first they don't want the people to have nothing. They plan to invest $100 million on a piece of land that they don't own. Me and them.
And I can understand how the people used to believe them kind of crap, boy. Now you gain facts and you have a problem with it.
I never know Miss Penny like pan, so Miss Penny like all that pan. And Miss Penny, Miss Penny sit down in the PNM government and listen them people talk about investing $100 million in a building on a piece of land that they didn't own. She had the opportunity. She was a minister. She could have said, well, no, only let me make sure every child get a pan. What they're trying to do now, put the government back against the wall while the government delivering laptop, deliver steel pan at the same time. Well, then we living in a reality area. Eh? We living in Trinidad and Tobago and we understand the amount of monies that went missing under the former administration. This is why the people of Trinidad and Tobago and especially the way how the PNM poorly representing the people today, this is why the people will make sure that the PNM never control the doors of Parliament again in Trinidad and Tobago.
You're sure right.
Come on.
And they was in power for so long. And they could have never bring the African and the Indian together. Kamla Prasad, Visesa, and the UNC do that. But now they're trying to put the African against the UNC. That's all they're trying to do because they can't do nothing else.
Hold on. I see Miss Cheryl, let me ask you a question. I see you put up a comment here about what Philip put up and say about Miss Kamala Prasad Visesa. Miss Cheryl, I want to ask you, how you feel when Rowley audio played and Rowley explained, was Miss Kamala them he talking to her and explained to Miss Kamala and the Speaker of the House that he went Lekito to walk Obia and Master Manning dead 8 months after. Miss Cheryl, you can type up how you feel about that? We understand what you're telling me about Philip. We catch what going on with Philip, but Philip living, Miss Kamala living, them Jack Warner, everybody living. Could you tell us this afternoon, seeing that you're so politically aligned with information, could you explain to us on the show here? We are over 600 brothers and sisters up. Mr. Rowley, the former African Prime Minister, that did not have the respect to hand over to our African leader, all the African you're fighting for. Could you tell us how you feel? Give us your sentiments about Rowley, the African Prime Minister, expressing his sentiments to the Speaker of the House, explaining the last person that put him out of the House. He went to Lekito and he organized where he had to organize. And Mr. Manning died 8 months after. How do you feel about that? African to African. Freeport, thank you very much for your contribution. Let me get this comment coming from.
They was happy about that. Okay.
Yeah, man. So as we wait on that piece of documentation coming from Ms. Cheryl, let me get back to a piece of conversation here.
Roadway do we follow? We campaigned on a simple pledge: safety first. In our first 100 days, we acted precisely, lawfully, and for you, the people of our land.
Yeah, man.
We used a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. We used a narrow, time-bound state of emergency to disrupt organized violence at its source, backed by Parliament and the courts. Regulations were published on July 18 of this year, 2025. Detention facilities were designated Tetron Barracks and Staubles Bay. And between July 26 and August 3rd, 38 preventive detention orders signed with the guidance of the AG, the Minister of Homeland Security, the Minister of Justice, and the Minister of...
Yes, ma'am. Bless good afternoon, caller. Bless afternoon.
Bless thee. This TK from Central, Mr. Felix.
TK, big up yourself, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man. So I seen emphatically forward ever to the UNC and the coalition. You understand?
Yes, man.
Forward ever, we're moving forward.
Forward.
So send you a little one pager where the government of Guyana had said since May 2015, since they had made that discovery with the oil, it forever changed the economics of the country. Right?
Yes.
So all the persons from the former administration with the PNM government, when they talking all this kind of foolishness, the amount of years they had, understand, in government, and only at 10 years for Guyana with that oil discovery, what it is they did as the former administration in developing this country. Understand? You have to let them know that piece of facts.
Yeah.
Because it's only a little 10 years that Guyana really experienced that discovery and it totally transformed that country.
Yes. Yes.
You had to put them in the place.
Yeah.
Now, I just want sharing something with you. It have a timeline on the Ministry of Energy, a timeline of Trinidad and Tobago energy development.
Yes.
That state is over 100 years. We in the business, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't make no massive discovery like Guyana.
No.
However, over the years, the findings add up.
Yes.
Things like all over when they start up with in Guapo and Point Fortin and Soldado and different places. Right? In adding on to Petrotrin with the refinery, and then Point Lisas with methanol and different chemicals and ammonia and the different about Atlantic is about 20, maybe 25, 30 years now.
Yeah.
You understand? We have offshore oil assets, platforms, permanent structures outside. And all of this over the years, we have maybe a solid 60, 65 years. You understand?
Yeah.
In energy industry.
Yes.
And the Guyana government celebrate just at 10 years. So the past administration would have been in there for so many years. Where it is, we really at as a country.
For real, eh? For real.
They need to really shake the conscience and the foolishness them carrying on with thieving money and corruption and all kind of bacchanalia and thing. Let it raise the head and see where Trinidad and Tobago really at.
Yes. Yes.
That is total foolishness which they on. You understand? Like they can't raise the head above that kind of bacchanal and thieving and corruption and them kind of thing. And I want to give Mr. Munilal and the present government full kudos with that re-invitation with Exxon to come back and make that development.
Come on, that
and
deal
go outside in the
that deal signed
yeah, that's signing today. Most likely, please God, we will go look for the news on that.
Talk now, man.
Understand?
Yes, man.
And now this is a very, very excellent initiative by the present government, because here it was said that was not on the current bid round listing, right? That is outside of the current bid round listing. That 7
deep water blocks.
Yes.
And it is a very good initiative, and it shows the urgency that this present government moving with to try and pull back this country.
Thank you.
Understand?
Yes.
So full kudos and full support to the present administration.
Yes.
Also, as stated on LinkedIn, Mr. Jagdeo Bharat from Guyana, President, he had stated that his country, Guyana, is open to oil deal and oil talks with any CARICOM nation.
Come on, man.
You understand?
Yes.
So all that foolishness Mr. Young was talking with and all them kind of zero value conversations he was having, the president of Guyana stated it, and it's stated publicly. The country of Guyana is open to any CARICOM member with regards to oil talks and oil deals, and we know things will work out from that.
Yeah.
Because we have the refinery there, and we'll be looking in a forward motion, understand, to see how that will unfold.
Yes.
So it have a lot of positive things happening in the country.
Yes.
So I see, and when I look at that statement that I saw where the Guyanese government had just celebrated 10 years, I could fully support all you. And TC and Heavy and men from the Ground Report and them who trying to illuminate and open the eyes and the understanding of the people in the country, that they would see, hey, raise all your head and see where we really at a country and where we should have been.
Yeah.
Understand? So that illumination, that enlightenment, that all it fighting that fight every day, all you keep fighting that fight.
Thank you, big brother. Thank you much.
Right. So all have a blessed day, and we lock on and we fight in the fight.
Yes.
Keep good.
Yes, man. It does know when you're hitting them too, you know. It does know when you're hitting them too, right? Sherry, hear this now. You listening to what I'm saying? You know why was Kamala and them didn't put me on the board? You know why the UNC didn't put me on the board? Because when I speak about the shortcomings in Trinidad and Tobago, I didn't speak to get on a board. The whole of Trinidad and Tobago know exactly what it is I just do. I am a young, strong, vibrant man. Everybody know this is one of the things I love to do. And the next thing is blasting and painting. So right now, my country looking to build back its oil refinery. Right now, my country looking to open back its oil refinery. Right now, we're looking to go down to Trimmer and see what could be done to bring back our structure to a relevant standard. Because we could sit down and boast all where we want. Cheryl, you. We could sit down and boast all where we want. But the fact that all your hearts is comfortable with people working CPEP, don't elevate further. Continue to call, to ask. Continue to live. And anytime you show any form of ambition, you are lit, bottom African. Bless good afternoon, caller. Bless afternoon, caller.
Yes, my young brother Felix.
Yes, man. Talk to me.
Welcome to San Fernando, man. So here this. How come every time a black man supporting UNC, he's singing for his supper? You could tell me something, what?
No, you know why?
Every time.
No, I will tell you. Let me tell you why. Because apparently the Africans that it have in the UNC, none of us understand our constitutional right. None of us have ID cards. None of us have ambition. So the UNC just pick us up along the side of the way. So none of we do have sense. We don't understand that the UNC is preaching proper governance. We don't understand that sometimes it is a good thing to say sorry. That is a good thing to do too. And this is what the UNC is displaying. Governance, representation. Caller, you go ahead.
Yeah, because I'll get angry when I hear all these foolishness with these propagandists and them. Man. Every time a black man of African descent or something, they're singing for the supper.
Yeah.
John Jeremy singing for his supper. Professor Seven Richardson singing for his supper. Oh God, small, get some sense now, man. We had our emancipation just the other day, boy.
Yeah.
Yes, you see, I will tell you this, right?
You see, mental slavery is worse than the physical, you know. When you have people who under mental slavery for decades
Yeah,
and can't come out of it,
yeah.
you understand? You are PNM till you're dead, and you understand. Look this last regime there, over $600 billion in that record, you know, the budget. Plus, you borrow over $144 million. That's borrowing alone. And
Yes.
ask me where that money gone. Nobody can tell me that.
Yeah.
Right? You shut down the Petro train, decimated the whole of the Southwestern Peninsula by closing down Petro train.
Yes.
5,500 permanent workers affected. Right?
Yes.
Over 60,000 people who indirectly affected.
Yes.
Right? I mean, come on, and everything about CPEP, you have to hold on.
Come
Too much
on.
corruption. Corruption is too large. Right? We can't go on this way.
True.
You know, this man about Kaiso, explainer. We just can't go on this way. You must get on paid on the people.
I will try to get
Right?
it. Yes, man.
I'm not doing very well. Yes, as I tell you already, I given her 200%. Sure. Because listen to what she did in a short space of time. And PNM was there for 10 years, I didn't do that.
Right.
Property tax, she get rid of that.
Yeah.
They want to implement higher utility rates, whether it's lights or water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're vexed about it because Marvin Gonzalez talking so much of nonsense about how Tiantec will have blackout and all kind of foolishness. Come on now, man. And people still digesting this foolishness. I find these 13 still there are too many. I like you. This will be 41 years old.
Thank you.
I don't believe they get 13 seats, you know. I don't believe that.
I don't. That's why I tell Trinidad and Tobago, a matter of fact, brother, we know that, but everybody feel it inside, right? Everybody feel it inside.
Yeah.
Everybody
it's time we people wake up, boy.
Yeah.
You sleeping too long.
Yeah.
Too long. Look far in Times Square. As it happens there, so
Yeah.
we go in India just now. They're making arrangements for park players to be in India. There's a lot going on, but we have to hold on.
By
Things will happen.
Right there, easy, that. Kola, thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you much, man.
Yeah, you take care, man.
Yeah.
All the best. Right.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, before I go from here, while Henry and them continue to be politically drugged, Henry, you know, in your electoral district, seeing that crime is high in the PNM areas, you know, all you could do some budget consultation too. You could do some youth consultation too, you know. Because when the government, this is why a lot of people getting tied up with, you know, them honestly under the impression that Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessa only focusing on fixing the area, Mr. Barry Padarat only studying his electoral district, and them not listening and understanding the words that our government is governing the country. The government is actually taking responsibility for every single sector in the country. So Henry, let me explain something to you. When we stood up on the highway on 91.9 and even on our own platform, and we explained to you that yellow is the code. When we explained to you, when UNC win, everybody win. It's because UNC made the covenant with the people of Trinidad and Tobago that when it comes to the corrupt activities that took place in the past, our responsibility is to put the relevant implementation, fix the structure. To start with, your weed out corruption. Bless, good afternoon, caller.
Mr. Irvin, Felix, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Afternoon time. Where you calling from, Dr. We?
Kunupia.
Kunupia in the building. Bless afternoon, Kunupia. Dr. We, man.
Okay. Well, I'll be quick, but I want to take up this on with more discussion about just internet fear today. Now, I know this. I know a lot of it. The government, past government borrowed a lot of money. I've been something between the vicinity of 109, 140 something billion. I'm not right on the figure, but I know it's more than $100 billion to borrow.
Yeah.
they spent out all the money that was left there by the previous administration.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of things that went on with TNT, Trinidad and Tobago citizen money. I'm just saying it like that for the time being, but I'll get back to all what I want to say later on. Now, how is it that a country under administration could borrow 109 and counting $1 billion? How do a failing government could hoodwink international lenders money to reach that figure for us to repay? Meaning that, is there a protocol? Is there something that they have to present? Like, I'm going for a loan to the bank.
Yeah.
So they will ask me to asset, they will ask me what I have, what I've done. I have been to the bank several times for money, borrow. So I know the protocol that me as a little fella who moving up the ladder has to present the bank.
Yes.
Now the bank will give me a little play along the way. The feasibility sheet is before them at all the time. My loan is paid on time.
Yes.
If I want more money, I will go to the officer, the relevant officer, to have the question, and they will say, well, they will look at my history.
Yes, it must.
That's how it works. Now, the past minister of finance, and then you have the prime minister, and then you have the attorney general.
Yes.
They are the watchdog for the economy.
Yes.
But man of speaking, they are the watchdog for us to protect our money, our lives, our borders. I'm just talking money today.
Yes.
Now, how did we reach that part? Did the bank facilitate the credit, the borrowing, or the co-sign on that loan for them to get that money? Was Scotia Bank involved? Royal Bank? First Citizen? Republic Bank? Well, the mark bus on Douglas politics, not now, since before election, that they took this money from us and they threw it in Nikwan.
Yes.
$1.2 something billion, and the money down the drain.
Thank you.
Now, I'm keeping watching. Now, Trinidad and Tobago have to understand, CPEP has to understand, the workers, the government is not against you all. You have to understand that.
True.
If you were to continue like that, under this government, even with that same system, you will have no work eternally.
Yeah, we will end up going down the drain.
So that is it. But I'm not talking about CPEP today, but the workers have to understand, they have to find, Arawi has to answer.
Yeah.
Pimbat has to answer.
Yes.
Raul even has to answer to this thing, because we are living that so, he have to answer to us. That is our money. We want it back.
Yes.
2.3 or 2.4. It's a small drop in the bucket for them, but it's life for us.
Yes.
That's what we need. We need, because we need our money. And this is what I want to raise here, because somebody has to answer from those institutions that all of us who are now talking, the Prime Minister, esteemed Kamala Prasad Visesa,
yes,
and Member of Parliament, how they should run the country. Me or mine, advice is good. You sip and you take what you need.
Yes. Yes.
But how did you allow the government pass to bring us in the state? What were you watching? What were you watching, sir? Ma'am, what were you all watching? All those banks, just call the names: First Citizen, Republic Bank, Royal Bank, Scotia Bank, even some credit unions involved. So, and I will call no names yet, but Mr. Felix, this money they have to answer.
Somebody they will have to answer.
Yeah, they have to answer. That's what I want to say, because my thing is on the money.
Yes. Yes.
My thing is on the money, because I get a hard blow when the damage this country, a hard blow. You understand?
Understand what you're saying.
This
position that we find ourselves in, this is personal to you. You want to see the results.
I want my results. I want my money back.
Thank you.
Not me alone, and I want the money back.
All are we want money back.
We want the money back, and Yeah, they have to know that. I mean, it's craziness. You can run with my money and sit down like you in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get some law, but we have the Attorney General there, and I'm going to continue to advocate.
Yes.
Please, Trinidad and Tobago, whoever you are, you could have supported the PNM. That's your business. You make a choice, you make a wrong choice, fine. You supported the UNC. The UNC is not a political party, as the name says, is about country. Only have to get that right.
Thank you,
It's
caller.
about the country.
Caller, you ain't
It's
talk,
not
you
about
preach. You ain't talk there, you preach.
right. But I have more to ask. I have a real thing. You want me money back? I'm
Thank you.
very sorry because I mean before I go, if I wasn't for Kamala Prasad, the CSA Prime Minister now, went in 2010 and 15. If it wasn't for her at 54,
Yeah.
she allowed me to go to tertiary education.
Thank you, caller. Thank you,
Yes,
caller.
sir? Because that is governance.
Caller, they say all the education is PNM owned.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, look, I beaten up that they could say as a talk, they don't go over that. They continue talking, but the people of Point Fortin, Library,
Yes,
Cedros, for us, East West Corridor,
Yes.
Central, they know better,
Yeah.
and they have to understand this. 3/5 of the, I believe is, if I have my maths right, 3/5 of the electorate voted for the country.
Yes. Yes.
They voted for the country, not UNC, for the country,
For the
but
country.
they are the party carrying us forward. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, sir.
Thank you much. Thank you much, caller. And that is the facts there. The people of Trinidad and Tobago, we voted for Trinidad and Tobago. United National Congress push the relevant information to carry Trinidad and Tobago forward. So you see when they tell you it have no plan, and there's no plan, and there's no plan, and UNC voted in without no plan, these things was on display before election. They are not this. It have about 5 or 6 of this. This is the part where hot them, the yellow and the writing in the back. The information they don't want the people and them to read. Right? So if you don't have this, even if you're supporting the UNC and you don't have a copy of this, and you not staying tuned to the relevant information, you by now would be thinking that your government have you in the read. Understand, we voted against corruption. We voted for our government to bring the facts to us. We voted for our government to stand for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And brothers and sisters, you see, we didn't know that whole vibes will take place in CPEP. You see, we didn't know every Henry, we don't conduct it like that now. You've been talking all the time, nobody telling you nothing. But it seems to me, seeing that you cannot defend your PNM, you're starting to get a little more disrespectful and a little more disrespectful. You notice me and tell nobody to block you, right? So if you're doing your thing, make your contribution because we are 100% sure you're here, Henry. Before you leave here, my responsibility is to remind you, Henry, that PNM is the most corrupt entity that the world has ever seen. Before you leave here, Henry, my responsibility is to clarify for you that the African PNM political leader, the last one that it had, is the only prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago that robbed the people blind in the country and abandoned the work. He alone had a legacy. He alone is the only prime minister could go and boast and say that he went Lekito to work Obia on his own comrade. Only PNM had that kind of history. When UNC talking, they talk Pekong talk. You are lesbian, you're stupid, you're dotish, you're corrupt. That way UNC does them not Pekong talk. PNM telling you straight they're going by the Obia man for you. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family and friends, at the end of the day, weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. It's not we who say it, it's God who say it. If my people who are called by my name would seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then and only then, he would hear from us and heal our land. Trinidad and Tobago all need to come forward. To those of you who under all your PNM drugs, under all your PNM syndrome, boy, I pray the light of God meet all your way of all is. I pray that all you understand that all your own children and all your family have value too. Is where you're thinking in your mind that are you still living and thinking like a pauper. Because the mindset some all you have, UNC could give all you $9 million in the morning Before that 5 years up, all you broken again, begging again, normal again. So we understand that we have to attack the mindsets of we people. And we are not hypocrite. We know we are East Indian brothers and sisters who confuse our day. But we don't act like the Indian population in trying to fix the problem. We don't act like they're not installing things and publicly advertising it and promoting the culture, promoting the race, promoting the music. Or they take that and try to make Trinidad and Tobago go against the people for promoting their own culture. All they're racist and blind in this country, not me. Brothers and sisters, family and friends, I see today we passed the 600 mark. Thank you very much for the love, the support, the continuous encouragement and endorsement. Again, we continue to stand with the UNC and the coalition of interest. Here in Point Fortin, I stand with my member of parliament who continue to be a man of integrity, a man of moral, a man for the people, a man of the people. Brothers and sisters, we're moving forward with the UNC, we're moving forward with the coalition, we're moving forward with the TPP, and together, collectively, we would make Trinidad and Tobago a nice, blossoming, and a prosperous place again. Understand, when you're digging out corruption, understand when you're taking people before the court, see people understand where you're at. We understand the shortcomings. All are we even the man by the parlor wall to go back out to work. But let me tell you something. In the future, all are we will sit down and say, thank God that we gave the United National Congress the opportunity to weed out this. To the Director of Public Prosecutor, Mr. Roger Gaspar, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we watching you. We watching you. I want to believe that you would utilize one magistrate can't say something fishy here. I want to believe that you would utilize the right thing. The people of Trinidad and Tobago have spoken. We want the truth. CPEP done already. Let it come out. So this is supposed to be not 6 months deliberation. Because when one of we children end up in problems, all it don't play. So what we saying is, let we don't play with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Gaspar, we watching you, and we will keep our fingers crossed that you do the right thing on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. To my brothers and sisters in the UNC coalition, TPP. All right, I suppose, brother, I know now close enough. I know close enough. So let me close up there.
All right. Let me give you 5 minutes then.
Yeah. Right? So, to my brothers and sisters, those who pushing racialism, all they don't know we ain't practicing that. To my African people in Trinidad and Tobago, the Indian man is not your enemy. Right? You have, if you have your money and you have goods, this is what everybody into. You have something to sell? All right. If they want the product, they're buying. Nobody don't care about user African and how black Felix is, and you see how ugly Felix is, and you see how stupid and dope. When you walk in the car parts place, do you have the money, sir? When you're swinging by Passad, could you pay for your items, sir? When you get day work, could you give us a proper day work for a proper day pay, sir? They drink too much Balize juice, you are damn right. Brothers and sisters, family and friends, hey, let me send a little love out to my partner, Anil Roberts. I don't know if I'll catch Anil this morning, but if you miss it, it's on the Facebook page, or you take it in. Again, the UNC continue to bring facts. Tomorrow, please, the Lord, we go touch on Miss Jolene John. She bust some fire last night too. So again, as we navigate and mind our business in Trinidad and Tobago, we need to understand that 3/4 of those Africans that claiming and fighting for African representation, they wasn't speaking just the other day. When Rowley was handing over to Stuart Young, they wasn't speaking just, matter of fact, their conversation, Henry and them conversation was of no value. So if it is of no value, when poor governance taking place, when good governance happening, they wouldn't understand. That is why they had to come up and type up all them stupidness. Right? So we go stay focused, we go stay blessed. Let we continue to thank God for Jesus again. My name is Irvin Felix. This has been our next episode of Real Talk. And brothers and sisters, again to you, if it is your like we're going on and you say, boy, I want to be a part of this, I want to send some support, I want to encourage you, Those of you outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you could utilize our PayPal account. Again, you could find me at Trinidad Halls. That is the address where you could leave your support. And again, we connected. We have our Scotial Bank account, yes, the penal branch. And ladies and gentlemen, the number is 463-754-021575. Again, the penal branch. My name is Irvin, and this has been our next episode of Real Talk. Thank you very much for your support, your endorsement, your encouragement. And ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to stand with the United National Congress, as we stand with the coalition, we stand with the TPP, I'm saying thank you very much for tuning in. I want to send out some love to Orlando. I met Orlando last night. I get to meet Mr. John Jeremy last night. I actually get to talk to Mr. Barry Padarat. We had a little small conversation last night. Still bounce up my boy Philip last night, Mr. David Lee last night. And what's when? Honestly, first I was focused on what it is they were saying. I didn't really went there to meet nobody. I went to hear for myself. My member of Parliament tell me, even don't miss this one. So ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, let me stay focused, let me stay blessed. And again, this has been our next episode of Real Talk. The information is on the screen. If the Lord laid upon your heart to send some support. And I am out. Until we meet again tomorrow, please the Lord. Love you.
Hear the cries in the streets at night. So many green born out like light. Youth them caught in a system code. Chasing shadows that take the stone. But the rhythm of hope is strong. Feeling deep inside us along. Plant the seed of change in the ground. And with the fruits of love from the song. So we can rise from the shadows as we shine. Through the pain and the sorrow, leave the darkness behind. For the youths and the future, let the healing begin. The rhythm of the island, let love put us in. So come from the dusk till dawn, as we rise up every morn. We'll fight through the skies like flame. All people will rise again. In hand is how we'll start. Everyone can play their part. But woman and child come in. Let the cleanse begin.